I'm very obsessed with not wasting a drop of anything.
I can hold this for you if you want.
And I always match my kitchen utensils with my food. That's required in this recipe. Hi everyone, I'm Priyanka Naik, a self-taught vegan chef and author of the Modern Tiffin, and today I'm gonna show you one of my favorite recipes from my cookbook, my Tadka mac and cheese. First, we're gonna get our pasta into the boiling water, and we're using just basic elbow macaronis. The macaroni that I grew up on and probably you grew up on. And then we're gonna get our elbow macaronis in. And we're gonna boil this for about 8 to 10 minutes or whatever the package says until it's al dente. I actually am very atypical from probably most American kids. I grew up eating homemade mac and cheese that my mom would make because she did not like to feed us anything super packaged. And she would always put a little bit of Indian spices in it, and she would serve it with chakli. So chakli are these little Indian snacks that are made from chickpea flours. Mac and cheese is so creamy, and chakli is really spicy and crunchy. So that kind of juxtaposition between the creaminess and the crispiness really complemented each other. So my Tadka mac and cheese from the Modern Tiffin is an ode to that. And first, we're gonna just get all of our aromatics diced up. This is just a yellow onion. I'm doing a fairly rough chop on this, like nothing fancy. We're gonna basically just saute everything down. So as long as everything is about the same size, then it'll cook evenly. So we're just gonna get a rough chop, and then we're gonna get some garlic chopped up. Now, everything is like to taste, right? I like a lot of garlic, so I'm probably gonna put in a few cloves. If you don't like garlic, then I don't know. I don't know who you are and why you exist, but you should definitely learn to love garlic. My easy way of cutting garlic, also this helps me release anger, and I don't have a lot of upper body strength, is using a really heavy pestle from a mortar and pestle and just smashing it down a little bit, and basically it like does the job for you. This is al dente. So now we're gonna drain it, but we're gonna reserve the pasta water. So I just wanna show you quickly, I have the strainer here, and I have a pot. So I'm gonna be straining it into the pot to reserve that pasta water. And it's also zero waste then. The pasta's done, it's sitting there, and that's fine. And we're just getting through our aromatics. Okay, so rough chop through the garlic. So this is done. Now, the green chilies that we're using are these, well, I call them Indian green chilies, but I think originally they are from South America. And I talk about this in my book a lot because there's a lot of misconceptions on where ingredients are from and what countries and lands they're indigenous to. If you can find these Indian green chilies, a lot of American grocery stores sell them, or Asian supermarkets or Indian grocery stores. Try to get this. If you can't find this, then use a serrano chili. I would say that's the closest one. So we're just gonna run our knife through it, give it a rough chop. So we have all of our aromatics done. So we have a big pot here, and we're gonna add in some neutral oil. You wanna add enough to coat the bottom of the pan. I did not claim this to be a healthy dish. This is a very indulgent, delicious dish, so just coat the pan. And what we're actually preparing for is our tadka. So it's called tadka in Hindi. I speak Kannada, and you'll notice that in my book, I actually refer to it as wagarni. And it's very popular amongst all of India. There's all different regional cuisines that use different tadkas and wagarnis. And it could be used as the base of any dish or as a finishing touch to a dish. And we always use what we call curry patta. So these are curry leaves, and they contain a lot of moisture. So when they hit the hot oil, they're gonna splatter and they're gonna make a mess. So you have to be very careful when cooking with curry patta. So you just pull the leaves back, and you have your beautiful curry pattas. All right, we're going in with the cumin seeds. You hear that? Little pop, little sizzle. You have to stand back. Regardless of how advanced you are as a chef, you have to stand back. Look, see? So you still want to retain that beautiful green color, so while it's still slightly popping, we're gonna go in with our aromatics. I am a self-taught chef. I was obsessed with the culinary industry and cooking shows when I was little. I'm first generation Indian American. I'm specifically Maharashtrian. The type of Indian we are is not very prevalent in the States. So everything we ate and everything we did was very specific and can really only be found in our home. And I would say the other interesting part about us is we were the only ones in the States from our family. So I grew up going to India every single year of my life growing up. I learned my native language of Kannada before I learned English, and I had a close affinity to my culture, and it was mainly through my food. I started cooking from a very young age. I considered going to culinary school, and I started a blog. And I used my blog as a platform to share my recipes and my life, and it started gaining a lot more exposure. And then I competed on a Food Network show in 2017, and I became a Food Network champion. And then finally, my kind of name and style of cooking really made it on the map. A lot of the moisture from the onions is releasing. You'll notice that the onions are becoming translucent. So our next step is adding one of my favorite Indian spices, turmeric, and it's turmeric, not turmeric, turmeric. This is gonna add great color, but also really great flavor. And now you'll notice if you've ever made anything with like garam masala, it kind of looks like that right now. So we're gonna actually just move the onions to the side here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some vegan butter, about 2 tablespoons. We're gonna plop that right in. We're gonna add in a little bit of all-purpose flour. So we're using some unsweetened oat milk. You can use any unsweetened plant milk. And you just continue whisking. It's gonna pick up that beautiful golden color of the turmeric, but there's actually no cheese in this. So that's where the cheeses now all come in. And you can add any variety of cheese you want to this, but the one key ingredient that I would say to add is vegan cream cheese. This is gonna help thicken it even further and make it a bit more silky. So now that the cream cheese is incorporated, we're gonna go in with all of our other cheeses now. So we have vegan cheddar shreds, some vegan pepper jack, some vegan mozzarella. Doesn't this look amazing? We're gonna add in our macaroni. So we have our cooked macaroni here from earlier. I'm gonna plop that in. And we're also gonna add some of the pasta cooking water to this. You're gonna get all of this macaroni. I would try to be gentle with this because you don't wanna break up and mush the macaroni. You just want it to be nicely coated. How gorgeous is this? Would you ever think this is vegan? Next step is we're gonna take a really cute casserole dish. We just wanna spread the butter around. This is just so it doesn't stick. You can also just spray it too, but you know, we're living our lives here. I did it! So we're gonna make our Cajun-inspired breadcrumb topping. So we're gonna first start with panko breadcrumbs. I like panko because they're a little bit chunkier, they have more texture, so it's gonna be a little crispier bite. Dry oregano, dry thyme, Kashmiri red chili powder. So these are made from Kashmiri chilies, which actually aren't that spicy, but they have a beautiful, vibrant color, which is why I like to use it because it adds great color to this topping. Regular chili powder, and then a little bit of garlic powder. And now we're just gonna toss this together, and then we're gonna top our mac and cheese with this. The last step is we put it in the oven and bake it for about 10 minutes and then boil it for about 2 to 5 minutes so it gets a nice color on top. She's beautiful. I do not make anything that is not garnished with something green, and in this case, it's fresh coriander or cilantro. I know there's a lot of coriander haters out there, but that's too bad. Oh. Okay, so I can't wait any longer. Guys, I mean, come on. Oh my God. The balance of the cumin seeds, the chilies with the creaminess of the cheese, it actually doesn't taste as heavy as like a traditional mac and cheese. And then the crispiness of the Cajun breadcrumbs really brings me back to my home, eating mac and cheese made by my mom, served with chutney, but now all of you guys can have it. Okay, so for this recipe for my Tadka mac and cheese and 54 other delicious recipes, you can get them in my cookbook, The Modern Tiffin. It is all vegan. A lot of the recipes are sustainable.